Hello and happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to Life Support. I'm Renee Ruffin, and I am so glad to have you guys back. We are continuing our series on strategies for playing to win in the game of life. I hope you guys were able to watch our show on last week. We had my son Nick Ruffin join me, and he's back again. Thank you, Nick, for joining us. We're talking about game planning for life. Just a little overview real quick. We talked about last week how Nick is game planning for his life. He started at the age of 6, planning to play in the SEC, and I'll be doggone if the Joker didn't make it happen. So I thought we could talk to him a little bit about how he did that, share some of the principles and tools with us on how we can achieve success in life. I've always told him that I thought football is just like life, and it is. There are a lot of lessons that you can learn from football, so I'm going to pick his brain a little bit more today as we talk about game planning. But before we get started, one of the things I wanted to talk about with game planning is that I'm sure when you're watching a football game, you guys see coaches walking up and down the sideline with this clipboard, whiteboard, or some type of sheet of paper with stuff all over it. That's their game plan, right? Or their plays that they're going to use for the game. But even if it is the plays were extracted from a game plan that started earlier in the week as they prepare for the game, right? We kind of have to do the same thing. We need a game plan for life. I think you would confirm once again that you got to where you made it because you had a plan for your life. You worked your plan, correct?
Definitely.
So in doing that, I'm going to give you a sneak peek into my world. Not going to take too long, but this is my vision board, right? This is my plan for my life. And if you don't have one of these, and I'm going to close it up because it's personal, but you should really take some time and think about what you want for your life. One of the things that I said in our last show was that a game plan brings your future to your present. So think about what you want your future to be like, whether that be for your children, because I have that for my children, I have that for my business, and I have this for my personal life over here. So I got a 3-piece board. You may not need 3 pieces, but whatever works for you. This is my game plan. I know what my future needs to be, what I want it to be based on my passions. And so I've written some things out to really have plans in place to execute. I have plans in place to execute for my strengths, for my weaknesses, for my opportunities, and for my vision. So with that being said, enough talking about the vision board because that's a whole other show, but I definitely want to make sure that you understand this is how you get your game plan going and how you transfer all the skills we're going to talk about today to your own life. So back to you, Nick. Game planning. You know, I did some research.
Google?
The research sounds better. Google means somebody else did it. I might have used Google as one of my references.
Reference sheet.
There you go. But I did a little research. Google, Bing, whatever you want to call it. And I started to, look up a game plan. How do football coaches game plan? What does that mean? Just so I can kind of get a better understanding. And as I start game planning, kind of leverage some of that stuff. Because one thing I know about a coach, the whole point is to win, right?
Of course.
And the other thing I know is that if you don't win, you don't keep your job for very long, right?
Yeah.
So in life, I want to win.
Don't we all?
Whether that be on my day job, my passion, which is really what I'm doing right now, and that's helping other people. I don't have to tell you how I feel about helping people and how much that means to me. And so I want to win at this too. And in order to do that, I got to put the work in. I got to come up with a plan. I can't just get on here and talk because I like to hear myself, although you might think that's what I want to do. I have to be prepared with some true information that's going to help somebody else to understand how to be better in life. So one of the things that I noticed that coaches do early in the week after a game is something called review and correction. Talk to me about that.
So after games, for us it was on Saturdays, so that's Sunday following, we would sit down with a coach as a group, as a unit, as a whole unit, and we would watch the game that we played previously. And in order to best review and correct the mistakes that we made, we watch it together, and the coaches watch it with us and point out every single mistake that we made.
Okay. So you telling me you guys had to sit in a room, the whole team of people, listening to people call you out and tell you what you did wrong?
Yep, every week.
How does that feel?
As humans, I think we're very prone to dissipate what people say about us because we don't like people telling us about ourselves, whether it be a positive or negative thing.
Well, some people like positive.
Some people do, some people don't. So especially a lot of guys where I came from, there's a lot of 4 and 5 star athletes who were top tier guys, and coming out of high school, they weren't used to a coach speaking about them in a negative way. Everything they did in high school was pretty much always right. So it was a difficult transition to listen to somebody correcting you all the time.
In front of everybody.
In front of everyone. Not pulling you to the side or trying to stroke your ego, but calling you out like you were just like everyone else and telling you what you did wrong. It was definitely a difficult transition for some guys. Some guys took it in stride. Some guys didn't. It was based on their mindset and how well they wanted to do in their careers and tenures.
So talk to me about mindset. Like, it sounds like in order to deal with something like that, you had to have a certain type of mindset.
You do. With football, it's a different mindset than most sports because of the physicality and the strain of the game itself. You're constantly taking contact day in and day out, which the human body is not made for.
So you tell me you taking all kind of hits.
Taking hits, not just physically, but mentally as well.
And you kind of like in life.
In life as well.
Blow after blow after blow.
For sure.
And so, how do you handle that?
Again, it's a mindset. You know, some people are built to last. Some people fold on impact. The people who I've seen that survive the environment that we were in, which is SEC football, and that is a gauntlet for sure. The people that survived that were the people that refused to lose, that didn't allow injuries or didn't allow a coach yelling at them on a daily basis, or what media people would say about them, or what fans said about them, or what even some of your own teammates might say about you. Those are the people that survived because they knew that they were there for a greater purpose.
So that's really good. So you're saying, I would say SEC is a business. I know that there are college programs that generate upwards of $50-60 million a year in revenue. One of which was the school you were at. So that's a business at the end of the day. And so there are requirements that have to happen. And so what you're telling me is you have to really be of the mindset that I'm here, I'm resilient, and whatever comes my way, there's an end result, and I'm going to get there.
Sure.
And you have to have that type of determination and resilience to do it. So what drives you to endure that? Because it's got to be hard, right? Even in the real world, if I'm criticized or things get tough, because life gets tough, sometimes you want to go in a corner and not come out. Yeah, you want to fold. So did you have days like that? How do you get through it? I mean, what do you do?
All the time. I mean, I think anybody has days where they just don't want to keep going. I knew that I wasn't the only one. That's really what saved me. So many people like to waddle in their own self-pity and think that no one else has it as hard as I do, but here it is. I'm on a team with 120 other guys who get up on a daily basis at 5 a.m. and do the exact same thing I'm doing. And for me personally, that is what saved me, is understanding that I'm not the only one. There's 8 billion people in the world, and some have it way worse than I do.
So, not having a victim mentality.
It's all about a mentality.
And so you knew you weren't a victim.
I'm not.
You were a victim.
I can't be.
Why can't you be? Why not? Everybody else? Hey, sometimes I want to be a victim. Right? Yeah, I got a dream.
I have a dream. Everybody in the world has a dream. The people who achieved their dreams were the people that didn't believe in victim mentality. I didn't get a scholarship. I didn't get a grant. I didn't grow up with money. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. Mommy and daddy weren't together. My dad was in prison. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a hardship. Everybody has a frustration that they go through in life. The people who succeed and the people who thrive, the people who achieve all their hopes, dreams, desires, are the people that never really care too much about where they came from. They were worried about where they were going.
I'm going to stop right there because that one did. They didn't care where they came from. They care where they're going. They had a vision. And so it's understanding where you're ultimately heading, that bringing your future to your present. Is that the glue? Is that what kept you grounded and being able to endure those Sunday review and correction discussions where, and even your teammates, where you guys were called out in front of everybody?
Yep.
Last thing I want to ask you is about that is why did you take that advice? Why did you think it was important to take that advice? And the criticism, you know, trust me, I've been around football just like you. Coaches are passionate, right? They come hard. They got to win, especially in the SEC. If you lose 3 games, that's a losing season in the SEC.
Lose 2.
So the demands are high, right?
All the time.
So talk to me about why you guys found value in review and correction period, even with it coming at you like this.
What is a coach? A coach is an expert who has been through or gone where you're trying to go. And in order for you to succeed, and in the context that we don't know everything, Albert Einstein said it best, all I know is that I know nothing at all. I'm one of the greatest minds to ever walk the face of the planet, to say that I don't know anything at all. As much as he discovered, he knows nothing. And with that in mind, there are people in this world who know more about my respective field than I ever could. And there's always room for improvement. There's always room for growth. The greatest room in the world is room for improvement, and we all live in it. So understanding that and knowing that and really humbling myself to understand that simple fact, I was able to take what I needed from coaches, regardless of how they said it. It's the old adage, you know, take the meat, throw away the bones. You know, some coaches are going to add their own little twist to it, but at the end of the day, they're all saying that because they want to win, which is what we want. And the more I win, the greater the possibility of me achieving a greater goal is. So I took every coach that I had and all their advice in stride and tried to apply it as best as I possibly could. Because at the end of the day, you wouldn't be a coach at this level if you didn't know what you were doing, if you didn't know what you were talking about.
You got a point.
So that's
humility.
Humility.
So that's review and correction period, because we got a few more to go. But I'm going to stop right there for today. Humility. We're going to pick back up with humility. Because you know what? I think a lot of times in life, that's where we miss it. It's easy to think that we have it all together. But one thing I've learned about really good leaders, and anybody that's ever worked with me, worked for me, I've learned one thing about a really good leader. You always put people that are smarter than you around you. That's really what you have to do. But to do that, you have to humble yourself. And you have to understand where you have opportunities and where you have strengths. And that's how you build a team, right? Because together we each achieve more. That's the whole concept of team, which is why I love the game of football so much. So with that in mind, we're going to pick up next week and talk a little bit more about humility. Nick, I know I had you twice. Would you come back again?
I think I could do another round.
Third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm.
All right, you know how I do. Walk firm enough to leave a footprint and straight enough to pave a path. Be blessed and be easy. We'll see y'all next week.